Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, Friday, the 13th of September of 2024. I'm Giovanni Benacourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Market, and this is being pre-recorded to the previous to the U.S. session open. So that was like a redundant thing. Anyhow, so let's get right with it. It is Friday, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So stocks are heading higher earlier today after a week of gains for markets, with the focus still firmly on the Federal Reserve's monetary policy meeting next week. Traders are digesting a week of macroeconomic data that has broadly confirmed the trend of cooling inflation. The dollar should remain sluggish, but has limited scope to fall further given already aggressive Federal Reserve interest rate cut expectations. Such aggressive rate cut expectations make it difficult for markets to price in bolder rate cuts for the Fed unless a recession scenario emerges in the U.S. Gold prices were also rising today, with investors piling into gold as they await the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates next week following the latest string of U.S. data. A risk-on tone is also boosting sentiment across base metals. Oil prices continue to recover also today, driven by supply disruptions in the U.S. Gulf of Mexico after Hurricane Francine made landfall on the Louisiana coast before being downgraded to a tropical depression. Francine forced to the shutting in of around 42% of crude oil production and 53% of natural gas production in the Gulf of Mexico as of Thursday afternoon. A softer U.S. dollar is also providing support to the broader commodities complex. So with that being said, let's take a look at what we can come and speculate for today's market fluctuation in the market. Obviously, we have the NASDAQ in front of us on a daily chart. So I'm beginning to break it down and taking it also to a 30-minute chart, right? And from this 30-minute chart, obviously, we're going to be taking a look at levels of resistance and support. But I got to bring my support first up because it's the furthest away. So the white line in this 30-minute chart is the 200-day moving average. The yellow line is the 50-day moving average. And if you open up that puppy, so I'm going to use 19,200 for support for the markets for today. The market is at 19,450 in change. And so the middle line right here is the medium line of the Bollinger Band. Is a 20-day moving average. And then you have obviously the upper and lower Bollinger Bands. So we see that the market for the for the past really couple of hours has been just ranging. Look, the Bollinger Bands are drawing for us a coffin of congestion, equal highs, equal lows. Basically, a great setup for a possible breakout. Will it go to the upside? Will it come to the downside? That's what we have to determine. But from this point, something's going to happen. Okay, so from this point, something is going to happen. Will be obviously break up to the upside to the 19,600 resistance level for it, or will we trend lower and then come look for that support at 19,200 for the NASDAQ. So let's go back to a daily chart in this scenario. So going with the momentum, we can come and speculate that perhaps we should have a nice move to the upside. We should. I don't have to. It's going to, but perhaps we will. And the S&P 500, we have been trading above our level of resistance support. So okay. So you see this level right here. This nice. That's precisely where I'm gonna place my level of resistance, and then let's use the lower Bollinger Band as our level of support. Now let's go back down into 30 minutes and let's take a look at what that may look for us in this spectrum. So I'm gonna have to just kind of tighten it down. All right, so not as a perpendicular, lateral, horizontal lines as much as the Nasdaq and the S&P, but we are trading above the 20-day moving average in the medium line. That acts as a support, dynamic support. So let's see if today we'll have a nice finish to the week. The pointing to higher open, so move to the upside. That I mean, I know in this half an hour that resistance level is mighty high, and I understand that, I see that. But in this, from this scenario, we can start just looking at probable levels. Initially, the upper Bollinger Band could be one of those targets. Afterwards, then we could just go by 20 sessions, 5,620, 30, 40, 50, 60, and that level of resistance is way too high. I admit that. I'm just gonna use rather 5,630, and that level of support is way too low. In the 30, oh, you know what? In the 30s, 5,600. Should we use a tighter support level for this? She's right there. Let me use 5570. So there you go, 5570 for the S&P. Dow. All right, so let's go back to daily so you can see the overall view of the week, how it's behaving. So we are in a rally mode uptrend. So let's move it up to 41,400 and 40,800. So resistance 41,400 and change, support 40,800 and change. Let's go back to 30 minutes to take a look at this market fluctuation, RSI as well. All right, so market is above all moving averages. Let's see if within this half an hour the market is going to continue to trend lower and find that support on the medium line of the Bollinger Band, which is a 20-day moving average, and then from here rally to the upside. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000. So 1-day moving chart, moving the time frame. In this, we are way above. Nice crossing off the bond of the bands of the moving averages. So let's use 2200, or should we use 2190? And this support is going to be the lower Bollinger Band. That's going to change most likely in the 30 minutes. Let's take a look at how that will look. Oh, actually, that's pretty good. All right, so we've seen how markets are above all three moving averages. Nice breakout to the upside is being done right now in the Russell. So let's go with that direction to the upside. Let's change this back to the crude oil. Let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil yesterday picked its head above 69, but it quickly retreated. It opened up with a gap down today. So $70 is going to be the resistance. And then let's just use 66 as a nice round psychological number for a level of support. And this gap down is coming to be being closed. So perhaps maybe this is a big gap down, because this candle opened right here, practically in the middle of yesterday's trading session. Gap down, being closed. Can we come and analyze this as a possible return to a lower fluctuation? Or are we going to come back and test that $70 marker or retest it? So let's take a look on the 30-minute chart. On the 30-minute, we have the pinching of the bands, which this scenario is perfectly It's an area for the upside movement, and we saw that 30-minute chart. RSI is further from being entering those levels of being overbought. So perhaps we might just get an attempt at that. But you see that's where the gap happened. So we are basically already, 3/4 of it being closed. So this is a pretty cool opportunity. Maybe we'll continue to move higher, but obviously, let's see what will happen later on today. Let's go back to Nat Gas on a daily chart, and on daily chart we are trading just much higher on Nat Gas, $2.40. Let's use the 12-day moving average as our level of support. And let's go back down to 30 minutes and take a look at what we can be speculating for today. So, all right, strong candle to the downside, rebound of the lower Bollinger Band, fluctuation of above the 20-day moving average within medium, but we are just zigzagging within half an hour in this, just really choppiness right here. So let's see if the market will sustain itself. It is Friday, so perhaps more continuation of that choppiness in Nat Gas. No momentum to the upside. Let's take a look at gold, which gold had made a tremendous move to the upside, almost reaching 2,580, almost, and I say almost because by $8, actually like $7 perhaps, would have reached 2,580. So that's going to sustain itself there, and that was a strong parabolic movement on gold. So 2,527, which is right around this area. That's where I'm going to place my support and going with the momentum to the upside. But also correction could be on the table. All right, it is Friday, so perhaps we'll see today some sort of a pullback towards the 50-day moving average, and then find some support here, and then continue to the upside. Could that be one case? Could we just come here and trade toward the 2560? No, or the 50-day moving average, and then a reversal move to the upside. That could be the case. A correction could be, as expected. Such a strong movement to profit taking is going to be happening, right? You want to take some money off the table, so you have to have that. That's the only way you gotta come out selling. You come in buying, you gotta sell. So now silver. Silver is doing fine and dandy. So 350 is right on my radar. I'm gonna use 29 as support. Let's take a look at the 30-minute and see how is that looking for the half. All right, so market did that nice move to the upside, almost reached 30. Correction, fluctuated below 20-day moving average. It didn't really came as far as the Bollinger Band, the lower Bollinger Band, but hey, it did rebound from here, and now it's rebounding off the 20-day moving average. So momentum to the upside is being built. Yeah, nice. Take a look at entering long. Then we have copper. Copper is actually creating a double top with the wicks, right? And it's trading below that level of resistance, the previous one, but we obviously will update that topic. So let's just use this here, and let's use this bottom line here, because I feel that today is going to be a pretty quiet day. So let's take a look at how that would look in 30-minute charting. Where are we heading towards? Yeah, we walk in the lower bands, so that is a strong downward momentum. So we have 1 hour, 2 hours, and we're in the third hour of downward reversal. So you see this level right here. We could probably use this. Sorry about that. That was a horrible drawing. But trying to keep it as flat as possible. I mean, I could always just do this. All right, so 414. I have the support at 410. I mean, that's the market. If the market continues to move lower, so, but will we find support here with this doji and then move to the upside? That's what we want to be taking a look. Bitcoin almost did a nice rally yesterday, almost reached 59,000, but it quickly retreated. Okay, today we are trending lower. Okay, so let's leave that level of resistance and let's just bring up our level of support a bit more higher to 56,000. Let's take a look at 30 minutes and see where we be fluctuating today, or how it has fluctuation for the last couple of hours have been. So the last half an hour we have been just really flattish, but the previous hour we were trending lower after making that high. Really look at this volume node here. So that's probably our next level of resistance. RSI below 50, so obviously the momentum to the downside has been picked up, but let's see if it recover. Let's take a look at the currencies real quick, and then the dollar index, the euro. So the euro looking, look at that, came up to the 111 marker and just quickly retreated. Okay, so the median point is acting as a dynamic resistance and 110 support. So let's just leave those levels there, fine and dandy. Here's my bold prediction on euro, looking at to trade between 109 and 112 for the next few months. So 109 being the lowest, 112 the highest. So we're looking for that 112, obviously. So let's see if we're able in this half an hour to trade above and close above this median point, and that will be a reversal to the upside. Nice trade to the upside. Let's take a look at the pound in this 30 minute. I'm not gonna go back down to 1 day. We actually rebounded on the 20-day of the 50-day moving average on the pound. So nice momentum to the upside being picked up. Let's see if it'll be able to reach that target of 131,500, which is the resistance. Then we have the dollar index. Again, no more sluggishness for the dollar. 100 is going to remain north of that. Look, just sideways trading, very, very low volume. This is obviously also a great setup. This is basically a coffin of congestion, equal highs, equal lows. A breakout, yeah, boom, to the upside, to the downside. That's what we got to be seeing. All right, that's it for me today. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.